Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor Part 25 based on novel. So let's start. Xiao Yan also walked slowly with the unconscious Qing Yuan on his back, looking for a suitable place as he walked. The movement caused by taking Guban Pei Yuan down is not small, so I can only find a place downstream of the waterfall. Oh, it's actually an emerald stone bed. Xiao Yan also found a stone while walking down the waterfall with Qing Yuan on his back. This green stone is indeed no different from an ordinary stone from a distance, but when you get close, you can see that the stone is covered with some rather strange lines, and the surface of the stone is slightly transparent. Put it in a place with strong light, and you can vaguely see some viscous slurry flowing inside. Xiao Yan's eyes stopped on this green stone for a moment, and he finally let out a sigh of relief. He slowly suppressed the surprise in his heart, bent down, and carefully placed Qing Yuan on the stone that was large enough to accommodate Qing Yuan. On green stones. The jade stone bed is a wise choice for healing. I heard that the jade stone bed has many magical effects, such as moisturizing the body, repairing injuries, and using it to give Qing Yuan the Guban Pei Yuan Dan is obviously more certain. As soon as the palm touched the green stone, a feeling of warmth immediately came. He gently placed Qing Yuan on it, and there was also a slight sound of water swaying next to it. Emerald stone bed, river pregnancy bed. Sure enough. Xiao Yang focused on checking the green stone back and forth for a long while, before finally confirming that the emerald stone bed was not dangerous. After all, it was always right to be careful when going out. As expected of the demonic beast mountains, the magic of nature. Putting Qing Yuan on it, Xiao Yan couldn't help but sigh in his heart. If he were to search for these jade beds outside, he would probably have to spend a lot of money. It can only be found by a man, but here, I encountered it by chance, so I have to sigh the power of nature's creation. Since you're ready, let's prepare the neutralizing liquid. With this neutralizing liquid, it will be much easier for this girl to absorb. The Golden Dragon King also said slowly. When it comes to configuring the neutralizing liquid, Xiao Yang's face is a little dignified. The neutralizing liquid used for Guban Pei Yuan Dan is called Hun Yuan Yuye. This kind of thing is extremely difficult to obtain. If the preparation fails this time, the next time if I want to get this treasure again, I don't know when I will get it, so this matter can't be neglected. Seeing Xiao Yang's dignified appearance, the Golden Dragon King waved his hand, and then an invisible energy barrier appeared around Xiao Yang. Don't worry about the configuration. I have placed an energy barrier around this place, and others shouldn't find out. Although the Golden Dragon King was extremely powerful during his lifetime, he didn't understand the matter of refining medicine, so he couldn't help Xiao Yang too much. Seeing this, Xiao Yang just felt relieved, and quickly sat cross-legged on the stone bed, but did not act immediately, but closed his eyes slightly, adjusting the fluctuation of his mood and his own state. The preparation of Hun Yuan Jade liquid will determine the success rate of Qing Yuan taking Guban Pei Yuan pill, so this can't allow him to be distracted at all. Xiao Yang closed his eyes for about half an hour, and finally opened them slowly. In the dark eyes, the ancient well had no waves, like a deep pool, unfathomable. Breathing out slowly down his throat, Xiao Yang swiped the palm of his hand in front of him. 3 jade boxes were suspended in front of him, flicked his fingers, the lid of the box was lifted, and a strange fragrance suddenly spread out, making Xiao Yang the spirit is lifted. A jade box contains the basic material of Hun Yuan Jade liquid, Earth Core liquid. The jade box contains a black earth stone mother, and the last jade box contains a red medicinal herb blood spirit fruit. After all, Guban Pei Yuan pill is a first-order imperial medicinal pill, and its medicinal power is too overbearing. It must be neutralized with other medicinal materials, otherwise, Qing Yuan's current body cannot bear it. Although refining is not a difficult task, especially for the current Xiao Yang, with a move of his palm, a black earth stone mother plant in front of him flew out and then suspended in front of Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang glanced at the black stone mother plant in front of him, the essence of which must be extracted, and then opened his mouth. The milky white flame spit out directly, and then wrapped it all inside. As soon as the flame appeared, under the control of Xiao Yang, the temperature suddenly increased to an extremely strong level. Therefore, In less than 10 minutes, the surface of the black stone mother was cracked with cracks, and faintly, there is a very faint smell wafting from it. Seeing this, Xiao Yan nodded slightly, his fingers suddenly flicked, and a weak energy hit the black stone mother, and then the latter made a click, the black color faded, and pieces of fell from it down, and finally revealed the pale white slurry hidden in it. With the appearance of this white slurry, Xiao Yan gradually weakened the temperature of the flame, and finally turned into a wisp, which burned under the emerald stone bed. It looked like the flame was steaming and roasting a stone bowl. In the bowl, some white slurry was still churning with tiny bubbles, and every time the bubbles burst, a faint black gas would rise. This black gas is the poisonous impurity in the earth stone mother. Only after it has been quenched, can it be used to reconcile the jade liquid of primordial mixture. Otherwise, the preparation of the liquid medicine will not be successful. This kind of refining, for Xiao Yan, does not take much effort. Just 10 minutes, the black gas in the white slurry will be driven out. After completing the extraction of the earth stone mother, Xiao Yan's complexion remained unchanged, and the last remaining medicinal material was also wrapped in Xiao Yan's milky white flame and turned into a red liquid. After doing all this with ease, with a flick of his palm, some delicate jade bottles and utensils came out of his hands, and then his mind moved, each with a small wisp of liquid, from the 3 jade boxes in front of him. It poured out, and finally, under Xiao Yan's control, it merged into a transparent jade bowl. As soon as the 3 kinds of liquids intertwined, a faint smoke burst out like moths to a flame. Immediately, they seemed to be extremely hostile, and they directly eroded each other. When they contacted, some tiny air bubbles continued to diffuse out. Xiao Yan fixed his eyes on the mutual erosion of the 3 kinds of liquids. After a while, the core liquid and the liquid of the earth stone mother completely dissipated, and what remained was only the slightly mottled red liquid. There are a lot of blood spirit fruits. Seeing this, Xiao Yan shook his head gently. According to the prescription, the mixed yuan jade liquid prepared was as green as emerald, but now the color in this bowl is quite mottled, and it is obviously a failed product. For this first failure, Xiao Yan did not feel discouraged. If this thing succeeded for the first time, then luck would be very good, but it was a little distressing. The value of these 3 materials is too precious. If he fails a few more times, even his heart will bleed. The traces of ice on Qing Yuan's body on the jade stone bed also melted away, but the strange thing is that Qing Yuan did not move at all, just like a sleeping beauty. Looking at Qing Yuan, who was still lying on the emerald stone bed, Xiao Yan was also preparing the neutralizing liquid in his hand. The next thing, however, did not change. It was still the same thing that constantly changed the doping amount of the 3 medicinal liquids. If this kind of blending liquid for the medicinal power of the medicinal herbs was 1 point more, or 1 point less, then it will break the balance between the 3 liquids, and finally end in failure. Therefore, during the reconciliation, you must not fluctuate in your mood because of failure. After all, this neutralizing liquid is not like a fusion medicine pill, which combines the power of several medicinal materials. Xiao Yan failed 9 times in the reconciliation of the 3 treasures of heaven and earth, and in these 9 failures, he also consumed nearly 1/3 of the volume of the 3 treasures. However, although the price was quite high, Xiao Yan's face still did not show the slightest impatience, and his hands were becoming more and more proficient. With the current level of medicine refining, among his peers, there are only a handful of people who can pass it. Naturally, he will not disturb his mood because of this failure. Show off? Xiao Yan's eyes were fixed on the jade bowl, and 3 liquids of different colors were condensed at his fingertips. As long as the amount of the jade bowl decreased, he would quickly add a little bit, trying to maintain the balance in it. After repeated failures, this time the liquid in the jade bowl became clearer and more lush, and a faint fragrance permeated the air. Smelling this fragrance, Xiao Yan's eyes that had been motionless for a long time only showed a wave of fluctuations. With a flick of his finger, a drop of the liquid made by the earth stone mother slowly fell into the jade bowl. Laugh! With the drop of the earth stone mother liquid falling, the jade bowl suddenly filled with faint smoke, and after the smoke, what was left was a small bowl full of vitality like jade. Slurry. Call? Looking at the quality of the liquid in the jade bowl, Xiao Yan couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief, and then carefully filled the slurry inside it with a good jade bottle. Of course, if you want to neutralize the medicinal power of the Guban Pei Yuan pill, it is naturally not enough to prepare a little mixed essence jade liquid, but with this first success, the next step will be much easier. In just about 2 hours, nearly half of the remaining 3 kinds of heaven and earth treasures were prepared by Xiao Yang Cheng. Looking at the emerald-colored liquid in his hand that had overflowed to the mouth of the bottle, Xiao Yang's face finally showed a touch of gratification. Although he had failed many times, the remaining product was enough for him this time. Splurge. Next, Fang is the most important thing. A ruthless look flashed across his eyes. Xiao Yang held up the jade bottle, and then slowly walked to Qing Yuan, took out the Guban Pei Yuan pill, and then looked at Qing Yuan as if he was asleep. Use Han Yuan jade liquid to supplement this girl with Guban Pei Yuan pill. The Golden Dragon King also said. Hearing this, Xiao Yang also frowned, picked up the primordial marrow and Guban Pei Yuan pill with one hand, and then moved the other hand towards Qing Yuan's sleeping lips. This? Xiao Yang was ashamed. Xiao Yang just opened Qing Yuan's lips with his hands in order to take Guban Pei Yuan down, but the strange thing was that he couldn't open it. Don't linger, this primordial jade liquid has a time limit. Once that time has passed, it will have no effect. The Golden Dragon King was also dumbfounded by Xiao Yang's actions. Offended. Xiao Yang was not the one who hesitated, and then swallowed the mixed essence jade liquid into his mouth, holding the Guban Pei Yuan pill in one hand, and leaned over to Qing Yuan who was lying on the jade stone bed. Xiao Yang first placed Guban Pei Yuan down next to Qing Yuan Bei's lips, and then poured it directly into Qing Yuan's mouth. Nearly half of the mixed essence jade liquid flowed down his throat and entered Qing Yuan's body. Inside. It is strange to say that Qing Yuan, whose lips were tightly closed a moment ago, even opened slightly after touching Xiao Yang's lips, and then Xiao Yang didn't care about the 3721. It was stuffed into Qing Yuan's shell lips, along with the Han Yuan jade liquid. Xiao Yang used his lips to transfer it into Qing Yuan's body. Little did they know that Qing Yuan's originally dull cheeks had a hint of pink. At the moment when the primordial jade liquid was immersed in the body, Qing Yuan's head, which had been sleeping, suddenly burst, and the soul power between the eyebrows, at this moment, like eating a catalyst, suddenly swelled up. Qing Yuan's sudden and powerful soul force caused Xiao Yang to feel a sharp pain in the middle of his eyebrows, as if his head was about to explode at this moment. Feeling such a sudden change, Xiao Yang was also shocked, but he didn't dare to be too reckless at this time. He could only keep his mind steady and watch the changes in Qing Yuan's body. Don't look at me, it's the first time I've done this. The Golden Dragon King was obviously helpless. After the blended primordial jade liquid flowed into Qing Yuan's body, the ice strands on Qing Yuan's body also melted quickly, and then the Guban Pei Yuan pill turned into a hot stream of heat and dispersed. Immediately, it evaporated from Qing Yuan's body, and strange dark green smoke began to surge up quickly, passing through the body, and the dark green smoke medicine slowly wrapped Qing Yuan's entire body. With the interweaving of these emerald green primordial jade liquid and the medicinal power of Guban Pei Yuan pill, Xiao Yang quickly realized that a terrifyingly powerful and strange energy tilde was rapidly flowing from Qing Yuan's soul. At the same time, Qing Yuan's strength, as if he had eaten something tonic, began to suddenly increase by a magnitude that shocked Xiao Yang. With the increase of soul power, Xiao Yang's feeling of distending pain in the middle of his eyebrows is also getting stronger and stronger. He did not expect that this Guban Pei Yuan pill still has such a strong power after being neutralized by the primordial jade liquid. What a pure soul power! Xiao Yang couldn't help muttering to himself, the sudden soul power on Qing Yuan's forehead is much stronger than Xiao Yang's Emperor Realm ordinary soul power, and if you want to talk about it in terms of the purity of soul power, Xiao Yang is definitely not comparable to Qing Yuan. Faced with the increasingly swollen eyebrows, Xiao Yang had no choice but to use his whole soul to form a protective film in front of him, and then he could feel the increasingly powerful soul on Qing Yuan's forehead on the jade stone bed. As soon as there is movement, Xiao Yang will take action. This level of consolidating the medicinal power of the original essence pill was obviously caused by the blood essence of the bloodthirsty dragon lizard that was too high. Therefore, the Qing Yuan on the emerald stone bed lasted for nearly an hour. After this kind of sucking and plundering, the strength of the original Dosheng has skyrocketed. 4-star fighting saint. 5-star fighting saint. Do D. In a short moment, Qing Yuan's strength skyrocketed. But this is not the most important thing. After the strength skyrocketed, the strange power in Qing Yuan's eyebrows suddenly became violent. Finally, an invisible wave that was invisible to the eye spread out quietly and finally melted out of the stone bed. Spread over the sky of this waterfall. Boom! With the spread of this wave on Qing Yuan's body, at this moment, the world around this waterfall, like a boiling oil pan, suddenly rioted. The sudden upheaval of the heavens and the earth also attracted the attention of all the magical beasts in the energy barrier set up by the Golden Dragon King, but this kind of soul power seems too illusory to them, except for a few magical beasts that can resist, the rest are worshipped go down. What's the matter? Xiao Yan also had a worried expression and asked hurriedly. The energy between heaven and earth suddenly rioted? The Golden Dragon King looked at the sky and said softly. Seeing this, Xiao Yan also quickly raised his head and turned his eyes to the sky. His face changed slightly, only to see that the originally clear sky suddenly became much darker at this time, and dark clouds came from nowhere, slowly shrouded the sky. The sudden change caused Xiao Yang to stare at the abnormality in the sky with bewilderment on his face. After taking Qing Yuan to consolidate the essence of Pei Yuan Dan, and adding the mixed essence jade liquid to neutralize it, then Qing Yuan's strength first skyrocketed, and then the soul's strength skyrocketed. I don't know what else will happen. Boom! In the dark clouds, there was suddenly the sound of roaring thunder, and silver lightning dashed in it, like a long silver snake. What's going on? Looking at the huge dark cloud in the sky, Xiao Yang could not feel any violent energy from it. With a mouthful of saliva, he asked. The Golden Dragon King stared at the dark clouds in the sky, and said solemnly, "It is said that when some legendary monsters in ancient times were born or advanced, some abnormal phenomena in the heavens and the earth will be triggered due to the inconsistency of the huge energy in the body. However, these legends, the level of monsters is extremely powerful, and some of them are outstanding, even comparable to the human powerhouses of the Dojian level. There seems to be not many such legendary level monsters in the Dudi continent now. See? Impossible. Qing Yuan's body is obviously human blood. If it's a beast, it won't be like this." Xiao Yang also wondered. It seems that my guess is correct. Besides monsters, there is another possibility. It is said that there is an ancient race in this great thousand world, and they master the most powerful healing and resurrection magic in the great thousand world. Angels are known for their purest souls and powerful healing abilities. I thought that Qing Yuan had an angelic aura on her body. It seems that she is right. The angel family will wake up when they are 18 years old and see their potential from their awakened wings. Although I don't know the reason, Qing Yuan has obviously passed the best time to wake up. Guban Pei Yuan Dan is also to help Qing Yuan. Yuan's second awakening of wings. If it is said that the angel family in the great thousand world is the first, no one dares to be the second. The Golden Dragon King also looked at Qing Yuan and said slowly, "Angel?" Xiao Yang also shrank his pupils tightly, and then looked at Qing Yuan, whose soul power continued to soar. Even in the Doqi continent, the angel family was only recorded in a few ancient books, and never appeared at all. Well, the most distinctive feature of the angel family is that they have the purest soul power and wings. The reason why you are dizzy is not that Qing Yuan's soul power is stronger than you, and Qing Yuan's soul purity is higher than you. The Golden Dragon King also spoke slowly. If you compare your soul purity to 10, then Qing Yuan's soul purity is 100. The Golden Dragon King explained again. Hearing that, Xiao Yang also nodded his head. His master Jin Long King was right, and then carefully observed every move in the sky. Qing Yuan, who was originally lying on the emerald stone bed, suddenly rose from the emerald stone bed into the air when the dense dark clouds gathered in the sky. Don't worry, just watch it quietly. This is the awakening of the wings of the angel family, and I also want to see how far this Qing Yuan can become. Seeing this, Xiao Yang was about to make a move when he was caught by his master, the Golden Dragon King. The voice was suppressed. The Golden Dragon King was also floating in the air in a state of soul. Looking at Qing Yuan's pupils, he hesitated for a moment and then shook his head. However, when he shook his head, the old face of the Golden Dragon King was filled with some dazed doubts. Because, when Qing Yuan just ascended into the air, he seemed to faintly feel that there was an extremely obscure aura hidden outside the energy barrier that he had set up around the waterfall. However, this feeling is just an extremely vague sense, the degree of blurring, and even the Golden Dragon King himself is a little uncertain. Xiao Yan was also attracted by the situation in the air, and did not notice the puzzled expression of his master, the Golden Dragon King. While Xiao Yan quietly watched Qing Yuan state in mid-air, if something was wrong, he would take action, but the Emperor Yang ring on Xiao Yan's finger suddenly trembled slightly. Although the slight tremor of the ring was subtle, it did not escape Xiao Yan's detection. He was now asking softly, "Master, what's wrong?" "Be careful, I don't know why, I seem to feel a somewhat familiar smell." The old voice of the Golden Dragon King, with some solemnity and doubts, sounded beside Xiao Yang's ears. "Huh?" Hearing this, Xiao Yang was stunned for a moment, then asked in astonishment, "Familiar taste?" "Previously, I used my soul power to create an energy barrier just now. A familiar aura seemed to touch my ability barrier. At that time, the perfectly perfect aura that was originally hidden was captured by me just now. A trace, otherwise, I'm afraid even I won't be able to detect it," the Golden Dragon King said solemnly. "This smell makes me a little familiar. Maybe I have come into contact with me before." Hearing the words of his master, the Golden Dragon King, Xiao Yang's heart trembled, and some shock appeared on his face. With the strength of his master, the Golden Dragon King, although he doesn't know the exact level, he can at least be sure. When the Golden Dragon King of his master was at his peak, he must have been the peak powerhouse on the Do-Di continent, and the strength of the aura that could be in contact with the previous Golden Dragon King of the master should definitely not be underestimated. At least it can't be what Xiao Yan can handle now. Anyway, be careful, and after Qing Yuan has absorbed it, take her out of here quickly. Yeah. Nodding slightly, Xiao Yang's face became a little dignified. Qing Yuan was floating in mid-air, and the medicinal power of Guban Pei Yuan Dan had already spread into the limbs and bones, and the strong medicinal power would make the somewhat slender body stand out vividly. The pure white energy that existed on Qing Yuan's body also slowly wrapped Qing Yuan, and then there seemed to be something about to be born behind Qing Yuan. In the gentle area downstream of the waterfall, Qing Yuan floated in mid-air, and then the sky above Qing Yuan was also covered with dark clouds at this time. The dark clouds all over the sky gathered towards Qing Yuan's head, and lightning flashed and thundered between the dark clouds. The powerful dark cloud above the sky, after a short period of condensation, a beam of pure white light emerged straight from the cloud, and then irrigated towards the Qing Yuan in mid-air. The pure white beam of light looks terrifying, but if you examine it carefully, you will find that this pure white beam of light contains a strong pure energy. Bang bang bang. After the 3 crisp sound waves, the pure white beam of light whizzed away towards Qing Yuan, then stopped abruptly just before Qing Yuan's forehead, and slowly merged into his forehead. Next, Qing Yuan suddenly grew a pair of wings behind his well-proportioned back. The slightly slender Qing Yuan, her delicate face has regained a lot of color, her fingers are slightly beating, as if she may wake up at any time. The white wings behind her are like one body with her, living like a fairy descending to earth. The dark clouds in the sky also slowly disappeared behind the pure white beam of light, as if they appeared only to make this beam of pure white beam land. Looking at Qing Yuan, who was a little haggard in the air, but was not in serious trouble, Xiao Yan let out a long sigh of relief, and the clenched fist under his sleeve robe was slightly relieved. After all, the thunder cloud was too terrifying, and Xiao Yan was also afraid that the white beam of light would hurt Qing Yuan, so he couldn't help but see the scene in front of him. At this time, Qing Yuan was irrigated by Guban Pei Yuan Dan and the pure white beam of light from the mysterious dark cloud. Qing Yuan's face that had lost its color due to drowsiness turned out to be slowly rosy, and only the wings behind him were the most conspicuous. Wings of dough. Xiao Yang immediately thought of this when he saw the wings behind Qing Yuan. However, if you look closely, you will find that Qing Yuan's wings are different from ordinary doji's wings. The ordinary doji's wings can be transformed from the level of Douwan, while Xiao Yang's doji's wings are created by the wings of the heavenly demon Wind clan. If the two are compared, its power is naturally Xiao Yang's doji is more powerful. On the other hand, looking at the wings of dough behind Qing Yuan, it seems to be connected with his flesh and blood, as if he was born with it. You kid, show me a good look. How could this be Do Zai? The Golden Dragon King also scolded angrily, then looked at Qing Yuan in the sky and seemed to be thinking about something. Hearing that, Xiao Yang also looked at it carefully, and then found that the wings behind Qing Yuan seemed to be connected with his own flesh and blood, as if they were born. He couldn't help muttering to himself. Well, it seems that there is still some introduction. The Golden Dragon King also looked carefully beside Qing Yuan, and then without waiting for Xiao Yang to ask, with a wave of his finger, a small sapling in Xiao Yang's ring appeared out of thin air. In its hands. Go? The Golden Dragon King also spoke slowly. Xiao Yang didn't say anything when he saw this. His master Jinlong King must have done it in his own way. Xiao Yang also looked around in a distracted and vigilant manner, and then his eyes slowly fell into the air. The little sapling is impressively the colorful healing flower that Xiao Yang got from the bottom of the ruins lake. The colorful Yuyan flower is like a small sapling. The 7 flowers of different colors seem to be budding. Although the small sapling is small, Xiao Yang can also feel an extremely powerful and energetic energy from the 7 budding flower bones. Pure power. It is strange to say that after the birth of the huge wings behind Qing Yuan, there is no sign of taking it back. When the colorful Yuyan Hua just appeared in the sky and saw Qing Yuan, it was like seeing the favorite delicacy, and went straight to Qing Yuan. The colorful Yuyan Hua just came to Qing Yuan, and happily surrounded Qing Yuan. Compared with Xiao Yang's Jinglian demon fire, the latter seemed to like the aura of Qing Yuan more, and the colorful Yuyan Hua was also full of humanity. Bowed slightly to Qing Yuan, and after bowing, he went straight to Qing Yuan's jade hand. A purple flower at the bottom of the colorful Yuyan flower, when it touched Qing Yuan's finger, sharply cut Qing Yuan's finger, and then a drop of red blood dripped to the bottom of the colorful Yuyan Hua. On purple flower. When Qing Yuan's finger was just slashed, there seemed to be a trace of pain, and then the beautiful eyes moved slightly, and then fell silent again, and the finger also quickly healed after a drop of blood. Qing Yuan's blood had just dripped onto the purple flowers of the colorful healing flowers, so how could Xiao Yang increase the pure flame power of Jinglian demon fire on weekdays, and the flowers didn't move at all, as if they had eaten a catalyst. A slow blooming trend. In just a few minutes, the purple flower of the colorful Yuyan flower slowly shed some leaves, and then slowly bloomed. The original small sapling plant of the colorful Yuyan flower is extraordinarily beautiful and moving when the purple flowers bloom. At the moment when the purple flower blooms, a powerful purple energy radiates from the purple flower of the colorful Yuyan flower, like pure and unstained mud, and then the powerful purple energy is smoky toward the blue sky in midair. Yuan's body poured in. Yu reading. The purple energy just poured into Qing Yuan, and the pure white light in Qing Yuan's body was also generous, and then the pure white light and the purple energy slowly merged together. As time passed by, the colorful Yuyan flower floated in front of Qing Yuan, and the purple flower on the bottom was also blooming extraordinarily coquettish. Qing Yuan had to go through the nourishment of the colorful Yuyan flowers, and then the pair of originally pure white wings on the back also slowly changed towards purple. Within a minute, the wings had already completely transformed into a coquettish and elegant purple. Following the change in the color of the wings behind her, Qing Yuan's eyes moved slightly, and then opened her eyes. Qing Yuan, who had just woken up from a deep sleep, obviously hadn't figured out his state yet, so he looked around with sleepy eyes. Brother Xiao Yang. Qing Yuan's crisp voice also sounded. How can it be? It's actually a purple-winged angel. 2 completely different voices rang in Xiao Yang's ears. With the sound of these 2 voices, Xiao Yang's pupils shrank tightly, and then milky white flames enveloped his body. Because of the 2 voices just now, one of them was obviously from his master, the Golden Dragon King, and the other voice made Xiao Yang feel a tremor in his heart. I didn't expect it to be a pretty little girl. A silver bell-like voice appeared, and then a woman in blue clothes slowly walked towards Xiao Yang from the dark. Looking at Qing Yuan flying down from the sky, Xiao Yang breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. After all, this solid foundation training pill succeeded. He stretched out his hand and wanted to take Qing Yuan over. In the calm midair, the accident suddenly rose. Boom! When Xiao Yang stretched out his palm, a crisp voice suddenly sounded from his side, and the hard emerald stone bed beside Xiao Yang suddenly burst open. Countless tiny green powders rose from the river, and then entangled each other like lightning. In the blink of an eye, they formed an extremely sharp sword tip and attacked Xiao Yang. Be careful! The Golden Dragon King also returned to Xiao Yang's ring at the moment when the voice appeared. After all, he was only in the state of his soul. When he didn't know his opponent, the Golden Dragon King would not make a rash move, because there were still some things to wait for. Follow the Golden Dragon King to do it, so he can't have an accident. The sudden change made Qing Yuan in midair, including Xiao Yang, stunned for a moment. Qing Yuan, don't come here, protect yourself. Xiao Yang also shouted loudly, although he just heard the voice of the mysterious person, and now there is a mysterious shot, even if all the soul power of the Emperor's ordinary level is scattered, but there is no find the hiding place of the mysterious man. Okay. Although Qing Yuan didn't know what was going on, the invisible aura on Xiao Yang's body always made her feel very kind, so she stayed quietly in the air. Then she glanced at her beautiful eyes, and saw the colorful sapling-like flower in front of her. The purple wings on the back moved gently, facing the Chitsayu Yanhua, and the jade hand just touched the Chitsayu Yanhua, which turned into a meteor and streaks into Qing Yuan's forehead. The place where Xiao Yang and the others were located was a small forest, which was inevitably covered by trees, so when they went around Xiao Yang, they did not find anyone who attacked them. A pale cyan figure that originally stood like a tree in Kobayashi suddenly swept out. The cyan figure was terrifyingly fast, and in the blink of an eye, it flashed in front of Qing Yuan, who had just woken up. When he stretched out his arms, Qing Yuan was pulled into his arms. Even with the strength of Qing Yuan soaring to a one-star Do Emperor, he was instantly subdued by the blue figure. Want to leave? The blue figure grabbed Qing Yuan and flicked his toes in midair, wanting to leave the place quickly. However, when the sharp sword tip formed by the emerald stone bed attacked Xiao Yang, milky white flames surged out, and in an instant it burned to nothingness. 3,000 thunderbolts spread out in an instant and came straight to the cyan figure in the mid-air. With a low voice, the soles of the feet containing ferocious energy kicked the cyan figure's head ruthlessly. Sensing the ferocity of Xiao Yang's offensive, the cyan figure waved his palm, and a huge white barrier suddenly formed around him. The white barrier also easily resisted Xiao Yang's attack. Blocking Xiao Yang's offensive, the cyan figure twisted strangely in mid-air and shot towards the outside of Xiao Lin. Stop him! The energy barrier I set up has opened a small gap, otherwise he will escape. The voice of the Golden Dragon King also sounded in Xiao Yang's heart. At the moment when the cyan figure and Qing Yuan were about to leave Shaolinzi, the energy barrier placed by his master, the Golden Dragon King, was also instantly lit up. In an instant, the milky white flame on the energy barrier condensed into a thick door wall, just bet the gap that was opened. The tip of his toes tapped on the door wall, and the cyan figure reluctantly shot back. His body jumped up to the top of a tree, his eyes flicked to Xiao Yang, who was chasing after him, and he said with a coquettish smile, "Little brother, don't be so reluctant to chase after you, and you didn't grab your meat to eat, but this little girl is our long-lost clan, so I also have to take her back." In the small forest, Xiao Yang swept up to the top of another tree like lightning, facing the cyan figure in the distance, staring coldly at the azure-robed woman who covered her face, milky white flames rising violently around her body. "Your Excellency, don't talk nonsense, this girl is my sister, you won't be able to grab it like this." Xiao Yang also has no control over the identity of the cyan figure in front of him. If it wasn't for his strength, Xiao Yang would have already done it. Where would there be so much nonsense? Above the sky, Xiao Yang locked on the blue figure in front with a gloomy expression, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire also reappeared behind him. Since the little brother doesn't believe it, then he has no choice but to offend him. "I have to take this person away today." Saying that, the blue figure waved his palm, and then an invisible energy rushed towards Xiao Yang. Strong energy blew head-on, and Xiao Yang used the power of milky white fire as his armor to defend, and it also cut on his body like a blade. Slightly sore. Damn it! Xiao Yan also said in a low voice, and then he saw that Qing Yuan in the hands of the cyan figure seemed to be in a coma, and then slowly took off the heavy ruler behind him. The flame divides the wave ruler. A low shout, rising in mid-air, and then, dozens of meters in front of the woman in blue, the space suddenly appeared a little distorted, and then a huge ray of light wrapped in milky white flames quickly emerged. In the end, it condensed in the sky like lightning into a thick wall of fire that was more than 10 meters wide. Moreover, on the surface of the flame, there are several meters of sharp horns scattered all over the place. It is conceivable that if you bump into it with one head, the end will probably not be better than bumping into a hedgehog. It was a trapped flame wall formed by Xiao Yan's small hands and feet on the original flame divider. The huge wall of fire that suddenly appeared in the sky also caused the cyan figure on the opposite side to frown slightly. Humph! He looked at the wall of fire that suddenly appeared and enveloped him. The woman in Xingyi snorted slightly angrily. Obviously, not only did she have to bring Qing Yuan, she also protected the girl from being hurt, and she had to face the attack of the man in front of her, so she couldn't help but struggle. Break it for me. Holding the unconscious Qing Yuan in her left hand, the woman in Xingyi shoved her right hand against the void in front of her. Immediately, the white light skyrocketed, and the overwhelming white beam of light appeared strangely. After the white beams of light appeared, they began to entangle with each other. In just 10 seconds, countless white beams of light were entangled into a huge white beam of light that was more than 10 feet tall. The huge white light contained terrifying power, wrapped in energy light, and then mixed with the sound of howling breaking wind, slammed into the terrifying wall of fire. Bang! Above the sky, an explosion sounded, and the huge flame wall was directly blasted by the white light to a huge gap. I heard the explosions in the sky and the falling flames. The Xingyi woman's body flew out of the void like lightning, and at the same time, her palms slammed back. Immediately, the huge white energy beam shot back from the gap and smashed towards Xiao Yan, who was oncoming. Feeling the intense oppressive energy personally, Xiao Yan's face changed slightly, and his right palm slammed open. Aiming at the smashing white light, it was slightly silent, a huge milky white flame column burst out. This video will end here.